What kind of place looks peaceful from far away, but hides some of the deadliest creatures and harshest landscapes on Earth? A place where survival is never guaranteed, even for the strongest. This is Australia, the biggest island on the planet and a subcontinent shaped by millions of years of isolation. From burning deserts and empty outback to dense rainforests and violent coastlines, this land is beautiful, dangerous, and unlike anywhere else. Its wildlife didn't just evolve differently, it evolved extreme. Here, evolution didn't just adapt, it pushed life to extremes. Stay until the end to see how Australia's landscapes and creatures connect into one continuous story of survival, revealing not just what lives here, but how nature, adaptation, danger, and resilience shape life in a way found nowhere else on Earth. Every environment tells a different chapter of the same story. By the end of this journey, Australia stops feeling like just a place on the map and starts feeling like the ultimate test of what it means to survive. But here is the real mystery. If survival is this intense, why does the land still feel empty, untouched, and almost forgotten? Why does such danger exist in silence? Australia is as large as the United States, yet most people live along thin strips of coastline. Cities cling to the ocean, while the heart of the continent remains untouched. From above, the land looks calm and open, but distance here is dangerous. Roads stretch for hours with no towns, no shade, and no water. Much of this land has barely changed for thousands of years. This isolation is not an accident. Australia broke away from the rest of the world long ago and drifted alone. With no easy way in or out, nature took control. Forests grew wild. Deserts expanded. Animals and plants adapted without competition from the outside world. What survived here had to be tough, strange, or both. Only the most extreme solutions worked. This is the hidden Australia, a place most people never see, a land that does not forgive mistakes. And once inside it, survival becomes a constant decision. But if the land itself refuses to forgive mistakes, what kind of life could survive here at all? The truth is that nearly 80% of Australia's plants and animals exist nowhere else on Earth. Some look familiar, but behave differently. Others seem like they belong to another age. Mammals never fully took control here. Instead, reptiles rose to power. Cold-blooded, patient, and perfectly built for heat and hunger, they became the rulers of this land. Waiting costs nothing, when time itself is your weapon. As the sun rises, life begins to move. Lizards press their bodies against warm rock, soaking in heat to wake their muscles. Snakes slide silently through sand and grass, hunting by scent and vibration. In Australia, venom is not rare. It is a tool of survival. The eastern brown snake carries one of the most powerful venoms on the planet, fast, alert, and deadly. A single mistake can mean the end. But danger here never moves in one direction. But danger here never moves in only one direction. As the snake hunts, it becomes the hunted. From the bush emerges something bigger, stronger, and just as ruthless. The parenti, a giant monitor lizard armed with claws, teeth, and venom of its own. Predator faces predator. There is no safe place, no true winner. In Australia, even the deadliest live one step from becoming prey. If predators are never safe, what chance does anything have in a land where the environment itself is the enemy? This takes us to the outback, where the threat is not just animals, but the land itself. Vast, empty, and unrelenting. It stretches for millions of square kilometers with little sign of human life. At its center rises Uluru, a massive red monolith standing alone in the desert, sacred to Aboriginal people and shaped by deep time. It is more than a landmark. It is a monument to endurance. Here, water decides who lives and who dies. When a small pool appears, life gathers quickly. Kangaroos arrive without fear. Emus lead their young across open ground. And galahs fill the sky. For a brief moment, the desert feels alive. Then the rain comes. When storms finally break the heat, the outback explodes with movement. Dry earth drinks deep, and life rises almost overnight. Birds arrive in the thousands. Insects swarm. What was empty becomes crowded and loud. But abundance here is always temporary. But when thousands gather, danger follows. Aerial hunters like kites and falcons strike from above, aiming for the chaos below. The flock spins and twists, trying to confuse the attackers. Still, some birds fall. But the land doesn't even let go of the leftovers. Tiny scavengers move in. Ants swarm the fallen birds, dismantling them piece by piece. But not just any ants. These are honeypot ants, built for survival in an environment where food is rare. Some workers are born to become living food stores. Their bodies swell with honey like liquid treasure. When the colony is hungry, the ants tap them for food. Survival here means becoming the resource. If the outback can create such clever survivors, what other ancient creatures still live here? The answer is hidden deep in the desert, in a creature that looks like a mix of a hedgehog and an anteater. Meet the echidna, one of the oldest mammals on Earth. It still lays eggs like a reptile, a living reminder that Australia is a place where evolution took its own path. The echidna hunts ants and termites with a long, sticky tongue, digging fast with powerful claws. It survives by blending ancient design with modern necessity. It's a painful reminder of the time when mammals were not yet dominant. In Australia, ancient life did not appear. It stayed, adapted, and thrived. But this is only the outback of Australia. The big question is, what happens when the land turns green and wet? The northeast of Australia is a different world. Rainforests spread in thick layers. Streams wind through dense trees, and the air feels alive with sound. But here, danger hides in plain sight. Hidden in the water is one of the strangest animals on Earth. The platypus looks like a mix of a duck and a beaver, and scientists once thought it was a fake. It lays eggs like a reptile, has a duckbill, and can sense its prey without seeing it. And if that is not enough to unsettle you, then you should know that the males carry venomous spurs. Even nature seems unsure what rules to follow here. But if the platypus is weird, what else is waiting in the water? The answer is not another odd creature. It is a predator built for killing. This is the death row killer of the rivers, the one that makes the water itself feel dangerous, the saltwater crocodile. It's the largest predator in Australia, and it can travel long distances in search of new hunting grounds. It waits silently, barely moving until the moment it needs to strike. The platypus can escape, but only by diving deep and slipping into its burrow. In Australia, even the smallest animals live with the knowledge that a bigger predator could appear at any moment. With the rainforest this full of danger, how do animals even get to mate? The fact is that most of these creatures perform. In the trees, a rifle bird dances to attract a mate, moving like a living rhythm. Then the lyrebird begins its show. It clears the stage, spreads its tail like a fan, and starts copying sounds from its world. Other bird calls, camera shutters, chainsaws, even truck engines. The mimicry is so accurate it can trick almost anything. But performance is not the only way to survive here, especially for those animals that can't fly at all. A perfect example is the cassowary that lives on the forest floor. It is a massive bird that looks like a dinosaur. It cannot fly, but it can run fast and has deadly claws on its feet. Cassowaries are feared because one kick can break bones. They are proof that in Australia, evolution does not always choose speed or flight. Sometimes it chooses power. And the rainforest does not stop at the trees. Where does it end? In the northeast, the rainforest reaches the coastline. The jungle meets the beach in a strange and beautiful overlap. Here, the world feels like it is stitched together from two different planets. The ocean roars, the forest whispers, and life adapts to both. The forest whispers while the ocean roars, and life learns to obey both. But not everywhere in Australia is full of life like the rainforest. And that brings us to the big question. What happens when the land turns dry and brittle? Most of Australia is actually covered in eucalyptus forests. These trees are dominant because they are built to survive heat, drought, and fire. Eucalyptus trees grow fast, drop bark and leaves, and release oils that help them recover after flames sweep through. Fires here are not rare. They are a natural part of the ecosystem. The forests are designed to burn, and many plants actually need fire to release seeds. The eucalyptus oil is powerful. It gives the forest its familiar scent, but it also makes the trees toxic. The oil acts like a defense system. It repels insects and makes it hard for animals to eat the leaves. Yet one animal has adapted to live on this poison. Koalas survive almost entirely on eucalyptus leaves. To do that, they rely on a special stomach that breaks down the toxins. Their gut is long and full of bacteria that turn poison into energy. Still, the leaves are low in nutrition, so the koalas sleep up to 18 hours a day to save energy. When they move, it is slow and careful. Survival here always comes at a cost. After seeing what happens in the day, what goes on when the sun sets? The bush comes alive at night. Eucalyptus trees become a hub of activity. Gliders leap from branch to branch, using flaps of skin to glide through the dark. Sugar gliders and feather-tailed gliders tap into the tree bark to drink sap. Fruit bats wake and fill the air with wings and noise as they hunt for nectar and fruit. Fruit bats do more than eat. They shape the forest itself. As they travel, they spread seeds in their droppings, helping new trees grow. They also move pollen from flower to flower, keeping the forest alive. By dawn, the bats return to roost, and the forest falls quiet again. The leftovers from the night feed other creatures, like noisy miners and butterflies, keeping the cycle moving. And when the sun rises again, what waits in the open land beyond the eucalyptus trees? The answer is in the ancient ranges that break the flatland. The bush gives way to the Flinders Ranges, stretching for hundreds of kilometers, with rocky peaks worn down by time. Hidden here is the corroboree frog, a tiny brightly colored amphibian that warns predators with its poison. It is rare, with only a few hundred left in the wild, and it survives only where the water stays cold enough to support it. The corroboree frog is a reminder that survival here is not guaranteed. Climate change and shrinking habitats threaten it, and each year the world grows smaller for this tiny survivor. And if even the smallest creatures can be pushed to the edge, then the real question is not whether Australia is extreme, it is whether anyone can truly handle its raw power. The outback, the rainforest, the desert, the mountains, the sea, each holds its own kind of danger and wonder. Every scene feels like a reminder that nature here is not tame, and it never asks for permission. The silence of the outback and the call of the distant animals create a feeling of awe that stays long after the journey ends. One creature may shock the mind, one landscape may still the breath, but Australia does not reveal all its secrets at once. The land keeps its mysteries, and the more it is explored, the more it demands. In Australia, the journey never truly ends.